Hello, welcome everyone. I'm excited to have Frannie here, special guest. We're going to be talking all about how to avoid holiday burnout, but specifically as a healer, because it just hits different.
Yeah, yeah.
Just hits different.
It
So,
hits in the heart space.
absolutely. Feel free, tell us who you are, and we'll jump right in.
Yeah, hi, love bugs. First and foremost, sending hugs and love to you. My name is Frannie Williams. Those who know my soul call me Frannie. I'm also the host of my Facebook group, Empowered Manifesting Women, an intuitive spiritual healer, a Reiki healer, and I also am a certified yoga instructor and a certified transformational life coach. All of that said, just to say, I'm here to help you move past that stage where you're like, I know I'm on the brink of something, but I just can't figure out what that next step is. I feel the niggle, but I'm trying to figure out how to surrender to it. And so that's the work that I do. When you're done with the BS and you're ready to elevate to your boss S, that's where we come in. So I've partnered up with Kiki to do some lives in the past, and we've always had a good time. So I'm so excited to be with you here today to talk about this topic that I think is affecting many of us in many different ways.
Yes, and thank you for being here. We've planned some more magic to come for this year and next year. So, but before that, we've got some holidays coming our way,
Yeah.
and whether you celebrate them or not, I was just telling Frannie, I feel like I'm really calm and not stressed, but I'm feeling it from girlfriends, from family members, from other,
Mm-hmm.
just in the collective in general. There's this heightened frenetic energy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were going back and forth on like what to chat about. And you messaged me about this. And I'm like, yes, exactly what's needed right now.
Yeah. And Kiki and I were saying before popping on the live that we're feeling it all throughout the collective. My private clients have been saying it, her private clients have been saying it, family members and friends have been saying it. So, specifically why I'm talking about it for the healer is because you've got to be able to keep, doing the good work. You've got to be able to be available and have that space. And you are here to guide and support the collective as they navigate making that space for them. So you're not only taking in your own stuff, but those you serve are leaving remnants behind. And we have to know how to process that in a way that's healthy and supportive so that, we don't absorb anything, but also so that we don't forget to honor the things that we have coming in substitute of taking on other people's stuff, because that happens. Exchange of energy, yeah?
100%. Despite intentions clearing everything, there's like remnants. I love that you use that word because it just intentionally or not intentionally, it's there. And
Yeah.
how do you recognize it? How can you clear it? I mean, what tips do you have around that?
Yeah. So one of the things that I say to anybody that I work with that I know that does spiritual work, I'm like, you have to have a consistent regimen to clean off. You have to. I do it every single day because I know how much I take in just from being in the rooms that I'm in. I mean, you may work with one client and you don't necessarily feel it, but then you go home and all of a sudden your energy levels have completely dropped, or you're starting to feel this chaotic energy that doesn't belong to you. I've had this conversation with healers, and the first thing they say is that never happens to me. Bullshit, bullshit. Because you're human, and you're not constantly. I know we do a lot for protection, but we're not constantly in a state of full out protected to the state of like where nothing seeps in, because there's a lot to seep in. So you got every night to clean off. One of the things I love to do, you have words that are so unbelievably powerful. I am all day, every day giving people back their energy. I'm like, I return this energy to its original sender. That is not mine. And then I call mine back to me. It's been really great. This has been cute. But make sure at the end and beginning of each day that you state, I return all energy, unknown or known, to the original sender, and I return all my energy back to me. And if you feel like you have been feeling especially energetically depleted, I call my energy back to me from anybody who may be stealing my energy or using it without my permission. Dabble, dabble. Okay, so you got your words. Secondly, using your sage, using your Palo Santo. Those are not the only herbs that we clear off with. You can clear off with lavender. You can clear off with rosemary. You can clear off with juniper. You can clear off with so many different herbs. And I beckon you and I invite you to consider what other herbs speak to you on a soul level and an ancestral level. I know that Kiki, she does like a lot of Celtic work, and she does. Do you say Celtic or Celtic?
Celtic.
I did it right. Okay, making sure. Want to be respectful, y'all. You want to, like, she does a lot of Celtic Reiki, and so looking of the herbs or the crops or the type of earth that you would have in relation to that lineage. And so whatever your ties are, you want to use an herb like that for your clearing because it will feel the most natural for you to absorb that. Does that make sense?
Yes, and it's interesting. So I just started working with cedar.
Yes, cedar's great. Love that.
And it is, I don't need to burn a lot because it is potent. I love my Palo Santo is great. And I've been playing around with different sage. Like I like the blue over the white. Like they have different smells. And I love that you talk about calling your energy back. I've been doing that every morning and noticed a big difference. And I clear with sound. So I use my singing bowls and I'll go room to room. Sometimes it's a bowl. Sometimes if there's like sticky energy that I'm feeling, I'm getting out my drum or I'm using my chimes. And I was like,
feeling,
and I open up the windows and I send it out to the return, thank you for compassion.
Don't forget your corners. Corners, that's where
I start there. I start in the corners, especially with the smudging.
For anybody who's like, I don't have singing bowls or I don't have drums, you have sounds that you can access on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, where you can literally type in frequency healing.
Your own voice.
Your own voice. Sound that's completely clearing. So you can use your own voice, singing tones, just going up and down in your octaves, your deeper levels. Those are beautiful. And then don't forget, and I think a lot of times when I work with people, this is the one that I see missed the most. We hold a lot of ability in our bodies. Our bodies are so unbelievably powerful. And a lot of things get trapped and hidden in the body because there's so many places to go. Move your body. When you're feeling something that's sticky, or when you're feeling like, I don't know where my energy just went. I just need to come back into myself. When the anxiety is starting to take over, or those feelings of like defeat, depression, all of those things that really are things that we sometimes pick up in the passing, shake it out. Move the chest, opening up the heart chakra, opening up your crown, speaking and visualizing into the upper chakras, moving into the lower chakras. And so body work is also super supportive.
Absolutely. I feel like I've been doing a lot more like in Qigong, we shake the tree, we're going to shake the whole body, but also even when I'm not dancing, like moving your hips side to side, forward and back, or circles, like activating that root chakra, grounding down deep into your I am. So boundaries have come up so much over the past 2 weeks with a lot of my clients, like the shame and guilt around saying no, or, people pleasing has come up, and, we are pulled in more directions than normal. You've got holiday parties, cookie baking, family tradition, whatever it might be. And it might not all be happy. Like maybe everyone's not here this year that was last year. And you've got those feelings piled on top of it that you may or may not have processed fully.
Right.
Give yourself that space to fall apart. And I don't know about you, but I have been very tired, like mid-afternoon the past few days. I don't know if that's full moon or me, or just like, hey, it's winter, let's hibernate. But all of the above.
Done. By like, just a huge dip. I've been 7, 8 o'clock, like completely out. So I feel you on that. And I'm saying a no. I'm executing a lot of boundaries and saying no to Friendsgiving, saying no to holiday parties. And it wasn't personal. It was solely like, I only have a limited amount of energy right now. First of all, we have less sunlight. Second of all, we just did a time change that nobody asked for. Lastly, I already know that, like, the winter season is the hype. Like, we're coming into winter solstice, but the colder months are meant for rest and restoration. So being forgiving, like Kiki said, of the things that you have that boundary that you feel inside of you that it doesn't feel good. I know the shame and guilt that comes. I was watching a video earlier today, and this girl was talking about how her birthday is around Thanksgiving, but her friends never come. And her friends are like, yeah, but it's also around Thanksgiving, and we're with our families. And I can't not go to Thanksgiving. I can't not be with my family. They would be so upset. Like the shame of guilt of not being present when you already know that you genuinely want to do it differently this year, or don't want to go, or don't feel good in those spaces. And I think what you said is important, that we've got to point out that as much as we love the holidays, as beautiful as this time is, it can be stressful. It can be overwhelming. For some of us, it puts us back in triggering situations that we've worked really hard to get out of.
Mm.
It can trigger a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of worry, a lot of angst. On top of, do I have finances to be able to do this? You're already dealing with the fact that the end of the year is here. Do you feel good about what you've done this year? We could go on for days about the things that are probably in your head.
Right. And then, I need to get next year planned. I need to do my vision board. I need to like,
Quarter one's around the corner.
yeah, I know. Am I going to optimize them? How much should I be selling? If I should be selling, does it feel good? Am I pushing too much? Do people have the money? Like you said, we could go on for hours on all of the things that are replaying inside all of our heads. But I think saying it, writing it down, typing it, whatever, just getting it out and releasing it and letting it go takes a lot of its power away.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so beautiful, because I don't think we realize, like I said, with the body thing, we don't realize how much power we have. We don't realize how much power we hold in general to be able to rebuke things for ourselves. I love using tools. Everything you need, though, is already within you, friends. The other things are the extra. That's the plus one. But you alone can say, I don't accept this. I'm not interested in this energy. I give myself permission to feel this. I give myself permission to say, this is stressing me out. This has been difficult. I would like to do things different this year. And I think just by giving yourself permission to feel how you feel, think about how much energy we burn just trying to deny that. When we could preserve a lot more energy by being honest about what we're truly experiencing, and then taking those action steps to begin to levy that. So if it's, I feel a lot of pressure, I'm going to relieve some of this pressure and take some stuff off my to-do list. I've been a lot more tired lately. I'm going to release some of this pressure, and I'm not going to that event, even though I said I would go. I'll catch them next year. Things like that.
Yes. And it was different this year. So normally we always get together with my family on Thanksgiving Day. And then we do like the significant others either before Christmas, on Christmas, or sometimes we even push it off till January when it's not as crazy. This year we wanted to flip it. We all the siblings got together, voted. So we got together the weekend before, and it was just different. And then one of my brothers backed out last minute. One of my nephews was sick. So we were down 4 people, but we had a 27-pound bird because there were originally going to be like 20 of us. It's okay. Leftovers were plentiful. We were blessed. We were grateful. But I was just like, it's just a different year. It's just a different year. My sister and I were like, we're going with the flow. And it was really beautiful because my partner's mom visited us on Thanksgiving Day. She's not far away. She's just in New Jersey. But she's the one that usually comes in January because she's like, I don't want to stress you guys out. And she drove out here. We had 2.5 beautiful days together, several fun meals. We did the lights at the National Zoo here in DC. And I could have totally blocked that off by sticking with the rituals. Like if we all voted a different way, it was hard. Like I wasn't with my mom and sister for Black Friday shopping, but instead of FOMO, I had JOMO. I had the joy of, I was not missing the crowds. I didn't even cyber shop, y'all. I didn't get anything for myself. I did nothing for the business. And I kept seeing like all these ads and I was like, put my phone down. I was so present and so proud of myself. And I was like, I could have totally made a different decision.
Yeah.
But this felt so good.
Yeah. Oh, I love that for you. I really do. I think, and I know this happens. You're looking on the Facebook. I said the Facebook like I'm my mother. You're looking on Facebook. You're looking on, all the other apps, Instagram, and then there's a TikTok shop, and there's Amazon, and everybody's doing the thing. They're sending out the emails. They're saying about this, and it puts this pressure on you that you should be doing something too. And I think that's another way to avoid burnout, is not necessarily following the trends, but being your own trend. Yeah. I don't do it because I see other people doing it or because it's popular or they say that this is what's going to make me successful. I think at some point after learning all of these things, you come into this new state of knowing of, I know me now. I have a lot of information, and now it's time to start incorporating me into it and using the parts that actually align with me and letting the rest go.
And that's a huge point. I have been in this I don't want to say block, but like the shields have gone up. Like I've
Mhm.
had too many voices in my head. So I've been like, you get so many coaches, so many podcasts, like
Yeah.
all me choosing to listen to or take advice. And I was like, which one of these voices is really mine? Which one do I agree with? Which one do I align with? And not taking, I don't want to say hook, line, and sinker because I don't feel like it's negative or manipulative, but sometimes I remember working with my first coach 4 years ago versus now, and I did everything, questioned nothing. And now
Mhm.
I'm like, I'll do this and this, that doesn't align, and I'm gonna do half of that.
Yeah.
Right. But you learn and you grow and you plant your own roots and you get stronger connection with your own intuition and what feels good and doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
And just looking back at my younger self, there were things that didn't feel good, but I ignored it. And those
Mhm.
didn't turn out to be successful for me. It was a great learning experience because now I know and I have that to refer back to. But now, and it's I look at that when I'm picking coaches, like do they align with my values? So
Yeah.
I'm very much in the balance of masculine and feminine. So if they're very heavy and masculine, they're not for me. I've done that my whole life. That was my corporate job. That was aggressive sell, sell, sell.
Yeah.
And yes, you want to offer, you want to serve, you want to talk about your gifts so the collective knows what you do when
Yeah.
they need you, but you don't you do it in such a way that feels good to you, right?
Mhm.
And even you and I having this conversation, some people listening are like, yes, 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 and others are like, I get that, that's probably
Yeah.
not me. Like pick up and take what resonates with you and leave the rest,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It really is up to you. And I agree with that. And I started this year, and Kiki and I met halfway through this year. Thank God for that. And at the beginning of this year, I was going through what I think is really called coach burnout. And
Mm,
I had worked with so many coaches. I had had so much information, and yet nothing really worked the way that I wanted to work. And yet I kept just pouring in more. And then it finally became this moment of I actually think that I'm burnt out because I'm trying to do it a way that somebody else got really successful off doing. And I'm not even going to say it wouldn't work. I'm just going to say it doesn't work right now for me
yeah.
because who I am and who I enjoy being in order to do this work is compromised when I do it that way. And I feel like as healers and anybody who works with energy, so much of our work comes from the depths of our being. And when we start to deny the depths of our being to produce the things that are outside of the 5D and get back into this like 1D, it is what it is, consumerist society, when we leave that and we enter back into this physical realm that we know is illusion, we lose some of those beautiful components, some of that magic, some of that special stuff that makes you glimmer. And it may be what other people call woo woo, which I don't love that term. It might be what other people call uh, delusional, but I don't allow other people to assign things to me based off what they've experienced. That doesn't apply to me just because it applied to you.
Mm,
And just because XYZ worked for you, ABC might be a better route for me. And I am compromising the energy that I've worked so hard to build so I could glow. And every time I step out of myself to be more like someone's XYZ when I'm an ABC, I am just letting that energy go to waste. And that's not fair to anyone because I didn't get here alone. My angels, my ancestors, my spirit guides sat with me for hours, days, years, diligently
yeah.
building this temple. I'm disrespecting them. And that I can't do. That I can't do. So I think it's like everything that we've said kind of wraps up into that point of do you, boo, times 50. Do you? And I know you want to make money. I know you want to work with lots of clients. I know you want to really feel like your gifts are being magnified and you want to be everywhere all the time. But honestly, what if your gifts right now are meant to be preserved? What if your gifts right now are in the up level stage and you need a little bit more rest? What if you're in the process right now of releasing something super huge that's in the way of that small thing that's going to come in and start shifting everything. What if you're looking for the wrong thing? What about that, babe? So I think we avoid holiday burnout as healers by putting back on our actual third eye.
Mm.
Because burnout was the moment that you decided to meet it. That's how that came in. So turn back on your third eye. Get back into your body. Get back into your knowing and feel into it and be like, is this best for my best and highest good? Not my ego best, but my
Right.
actual highest good. And if not, it can't be right now. And that's okay. Because my best today might not have been my best last year or even my best yesterday. But this is what I have. What I have.
That's beautiful. And I love that you brought in the alignment, and I've found this too. Whenever I act out of integrity, what I know are like my morals, whether it's cookie cutter or 10 people or 100 people got the same results. That gut, that third eye, that intuition, whenever I've ignored it, whether it's screaming at me or just a little, hey, are you sure you want to do that? Tap, 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 tap. And I'm like, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. They've all been successful. Right. But are you them? Are they you? Like,
Come on.
right. We are all unique. Like you and I practice Reiki.
Yeah.
But I guarantee we do it differently.
Yeah.
And we have our own glimmer, our own sparkle, our own essence that we bring to our clients. And
Even us.
exactly. And it might bring them to both of us. You and I, one of our first conversations I loved was we were in alignment with there are not enough healers in the world. I don't see anyone as competition. Like there are so many people that are hurting that need us and probably need a lot of the gifts that we all offer in this community, in this collective. And I want to shine a light on as many other healers, light workers, spiritual business owners as possible so people can find you faster and better and not live in pain, but connect to that purpose you were talking about at the beginning. Like there are so many people that are ready, but they don't know, like in the beginning, when I was going through my awakening, I didn't know what to ask. I didn't know who to go to. I didn't know what was happening to me. A lot of it, I struggled on my own before I even had like my first.
Yeah. So lonely.
But we're not anymore, which is great. And that's why I love this community. And I've made it like a no promotion group because I want it to be community, collaboration, support. I love sharing as much of my gifts as possible. And I touch on the 3D, but my purpose that dropped in very heavily is marketing, but through a spiritual lens for spiritual business owners. And that's been coming through louder and louder. But it's been a whole year. I wasn't ignoring it, but I was like, no, that's not me. Other people are doing it. And I started looking. I can't really find a lot of people like the energetics of marketing or authentic messaging or selling it from the feminine, like all of those pieces together. And then that with my actual like 3D sales and marketing background, I was like, okay, so I'm going to create something from scratch, but I was fighting it. I didn't want to do it.
Oh, yeah, I hear that.
And now, like you said, like the thoughts that you had just talked about, like it's the end of the year. I haven't built a program. I haven't pumped the brakes, girlfriend. Look where you were this time last year and all you've gone through, all the little lessons. You know, I was going through a journal from last year and going through, it just fell off when I was cleaning and changing my office around. And the limiting beliefs I had this time last year and how many no longer exist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was crying. But happy tears, like, girl, look at this is the universe showing you the progress you've made.
Look at you.
And thank you. But more to highlight, have you looked back and instead of looking for what you haven't done or the things you didn't check off on a vision board, what you did do, and maybe half the things weren't on your board or weren't in a journal, but the universe had other plans and you jumped way outside of your comfort zone. This time last year, I hated live video. I didn't start going live until June of this year. And now I love these chats. Like I'm chatting with girlfriends. We get downloads in the moment, but I was terrified. The back sweat was going on. I would have to change shirts in between. It was real. I would.
Wow, I never would have thought. See, thank God we don't look like what we've been through, you all. Like, seriously.
And I mean, they were right. The first one's gonna suck. Like the sound would happen, or like the ring light went out, or the Wi-Fi. Just embrace it. As an instructor, I know like the music goes out, we keep singing, we keep moving, like we do what we
Yeah.
do. That applies to everything.
Yeah. Oh, I am, first of all, so happy for you because I see your growth. I've been seeing you on Facebook for over a year, and um, we actually met in, I think, a coffee chat. Was it a coffee chat at this
Yeah,
point?
Charlotte's Connect and
Okay.
Collaborate. Yeah,
And I
yeah.
had been invited to that multiple times and just never went because I was burnt out of experiences that just didn't feel authentic and being sold to. And initially, I wasn't really taking any more requests to meet with people because I was so tired of being sold to. And listen, I have a business. I got to sell to. I get it. I don't have a problem with people selling. Make your money, honey. I was just tired of showing up in spaces, feeling vulnerable and feeling taken advantage of because I wasn't able to truly advocate for myself in those moments. And so I felt for me, it felt very victimized. And then I
Mhm.
had to find my power again to get out of that. So I took a little pause for the cause. And I remember Kiki reaching out and me being like, "You're on your pause for the cause." Something was like, "Oh, she's so sweet. Take this one. Just take this one." And I think there's something in that because our fear sometimes holds us back from being on the other side of the things that we're like praying for. And when Kiki and I got on our first chat, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is such a breath of fresh air." Like we both were like, "This feels so synonymous. The synergy here is absolutely beautiful." And we went on to be like, "Do you want to keep doing it?" And it was like, "Yes, I absolutely do." Okay. And Franny, a year ago, might have missed that opportunity looking for the wrong things. I remember one point in time, well, first and foremost, this time last year, I was in the middle of a burnout. And I was experiencing what I think was a version of insomnia. I don't really know what was going on, but I was going days without sleeping.
Mm.
And I was miserable. And everybody who knows me, I'm someone who could fall asleep in the middle of the day just for a little cute, what I call a nappy nap. And 3 hours later, I'm like, "Girl, I'm back." And people are like, "You didn't go to a nap, you went to sleep." And I was like, "Whatever. That's me. I don't have issues sleeping." So for a whole month and a half, it lasted all the way till January. And I was stressed about my business. My revenue streams were here and there, but I didn't feel good about anything in the point of like, this can continue to grow. This will continue to well. I wasn't seeing the growth. And I was so depressed about just how much time and effort and energy I had put on top of everything. And then to get to the end of the year and just feel burnt out. And I don't feel like I didn't feel like I got anything from it. And that was difficult. And then I started this new year, still burnt out, still not sleeping, and with very little energy to give. It took me until March just to put something out, which was a whole quarter gone. And that was very sad for me. Now I'm already booked for January and February. I have met tons of new connections, sleeping like a baby, not at all in a burnout, being
Yeah.
very conscious about my scheduling, no longer chasing every client, every dollar, letting it be. And every single month has been so much more ease than it was this time last year because I've enacted more of my feminine of I'm okay. I trust the universe will provide for me. Taking aligned action, showing up when I want to show up, not showing up when I don't. Yeah, I'd love it if I showed up a little bit more. But right now I'm not in the energy. I'll show up when I'm ready. I made it here today. And then getting past the fear that would have kept me from being able to be in this experience at all because the fear had put up this wall of not wanting to be penetrated by anything.
Mhm.
And that also meant spirit couldn't reach me with messages, with energy, with people.
Oh.
And so therefore, I wasn't even being refueled when I was giving something out because I was giving stuff out, but I wasn't taking anything in good or bad. I was done. And that blocked a lot of my receptors. So to now be in a state where I'm like, pour into me. Oh yes, let me meet this beautiful person who has these beautiful messages and inspires me, and yet is also so fun to work with. Oh yes, let me go do,
Yes.
that's part of it, y'all. That's part of not just how you heal your burnout, but how you heal the healer.
Yes. Yes. And can I just say congratulations? So excited for you and your business. That's amazing. And the slow down to speed up. Like I thought it because I was very heavy in my masculine.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I could fix things with action.
Me too. Yeah.
A lot of times not well thought out action. I was just like, let me just do this, or like, I'm doing things, but am I doing busy work?
Yeah.
I had it was a webinar, so hundreds of people on it, but I felt like they were talking to me, and he's like, do you spend hours in Canva or working on your website or perfecting your bio instead of working with clients? And I was just like, oh my gosh, how does he know?
Mm.
And I was like, girl, you got to get out of this, because it was keeping me safe, right?
Yeah.
Those comfort zones. I could go down a rabbit hole in Canva. I could be, I've had 3 different iterations of my website, wasted way too much. Now I don't even run from it. It's not updated. I send links, I create programs and send invoices to PayPal. I'm like, what do my people need from me?
Mm-hmm.
Does that feel good? Yeah, let's send it. Like, I'm not going to create a whole like cart page and sales page. Like, do you want this? Awesome. Here you go.
Yes, agreed. I let that go. I agree.
Hit the easy button, and the right people are showing up. I was also misaligned where I was 100% in the fitness world, physical, just the physical body. But I paid no attention to the mental, the emotional, and spiritual for so many years. I've been doing this since 2005. But thankfully, with the shutdown, got off the hamster wheel, and it was like the midlife awakening, right? It's like, ooh, I can kind of take that pause. We were all forced to, but it was a great moment for me. So it took me out of the cubicle environment, which I hated deep within my soul, but put the mask on and was like, oh, you're good at this, so I guess this is what I'm going to do. But I am so much happier doing this and working with people I love and support and raising them up and being able to run down the hall and snuggle with my cats for 5 minutes, or like you said, take a nap. I love working out in the middle of the day instead of at night,
Yeah.
But I had a beautiful group there, an amazing community, but it was no matter how hard I worked on it, no matter what challenges or what love and energy I poured into it, it would like never get past like 290, 280. Like I'd have people join and people leave, which happens, right? I know I'm not for everybody now, and I embrace that with love, and it doesn't hurt my feelings. Like I'm not supposed to make everybody happy. I'm supposed to piss some people off. Those aren't my people. Like I don't mean to. I'm not doing it intentionally, but hey, if I rub you the wrong way, sorry, not sorry. I don't know. Your people are out there.
Right.
I started this group. I was looking at it either July or August. We're already over 350 people, and I'm so grateful you are all here. I love you. It just brings me so much joy to come hang out, ask questions, pop on for my weekly coaching over cacao. Like I love pouring into the community. I love the connections that are happening both on the wall, behind the scenes, indirect messages. Like there are people of all different levels of business. Some are more advanced than me. Some are just starting out. Some people are getting introduced to new gifts. Like that is exactly the vision I had for this community. Support, collaboration, co-creation. Like we can all rise together, and we are so much stronger together. And the world needs all of us, every single one of us.
Oh, I love this. And I'm so happy to be here with all of you as well. I saw your post when you were like, comparing the two, and when you stepped out and really listened to your body and listened to what you were going through on a soul level. Look how it expanded. And I think that's such an inspirational message, and it gives hope to those who, to those of us, me included.
Yeah.
I'm still growing. I'm not, I don't know if we'll ever quite be there, but I hope one day I'll feel like I'm there. That's all I could say in this earth. I don't want to always be chasing the next thing, and I don't think that's what we're meant to do in this life. However, I'm still in that state where I'm like, it's growth time. And so, watching those who you care about and who you've been watching silently, and then you see them like popping off, and it's a beautiful thing, because it can happen for you too. It can happen for me too. It can all happen. So I've just loved sharing. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go. We get so excited.
I've just loved sharing all the spaces that I've been able to share with you, and so excited to share some more spaces, excited to meet some of you, and please feel free to keep asking questions and to keep sharing. I put up a post today in my group that really resonated with a lot of women that are in there about, this exact topic. And you think you're so alone in it until you read those comments. So don't feel afraid don't feel like you need to hold back those thoughts. Like Kiki said, open your mouth, speak it, let it out of the body.
Yes. And more conversations like this of where we were, where we are, and also where we're going is very inspirational. And there aren't enough of them out there, in my not so humble opinion. So it's time for us to be loud and proud. You know, I think we're taught societally, at least in the US, like it's braggadocious if women brag, but it's okay for men to do it. And I know I'm making generalities, but if you look and watch and observe in all the online spaces, there's a different reaction when men talk about their successes versus when women talk about their successes.
Yeah.
We need to be more proud. Like,
Yeah.
we went back and forth on whether I was going to post that 300 member in my group. And I was like, you know what, Kiki, you're celebrating the women in the group as well as you connecting them. And you want to do that to attract even more.
Yeah.
Like,
And you didn't just celebrate, you threw a party.
Yeah.
I think we're almost at 4 now.
Yeah.
Well, like 2 days.
I love it. And just showing up and networking in groups, which was another big stretch for me. Right. I like to be the fly on the wall. I love to read and watch, and yeah, I'll tap the heart or the smiley face or leave a gift. But it's like, no, this is like a digital coffee house, right? Like in the real world before social media, where you would meet new friends, you'd bump elbows with them getting coffee or in the line for dry cleaning or just like out in the real world. So these are like little digital hubs. And I went through and I cleaned up a whole bunch of groups where I was like stagnant, not feeling the energy, or like wanted to close a whole bunch of tabs too. Cause I was like, energy's leaking. Where's my energy leaking? So just kind of changing how I viewed social media. And there are lessons I'm going through as I'm preparing for this program. And I'm like, oh, I like this. I don't like this. What's worked for me? What hasn't worked for me? And making them use cases, right? As a healer, how I used to market my fitness business didn't really apply to my spiritual business. It fell flat. I got crickets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so in product versus service, some things transfer, some things don't. But it really doesn't matter so much about the graphics and the words, but as much as the energy.
Yeah, I agree. And thank you for sharing that. I think the key is finding ways to love some of these tasks that can become mundane and monotonous. And I think cleaning up is a really strong way to do that, because there are those 5 communities that you probably would love to be in, but you don't see them because there's 500 that you've signed up for. So it does take time to. I wish you could mass what is it called? Like mass leave groups. Like I wish you could.
Oh yeah, just like click a whole bunch and be like, bye, Felicia.
So that's fine. But you've inspired me to, get back to that when I feel aligned to, and do it in a way that feels beautiful. So thank you for being this light, and thank you for hosting me today.
You are welcome. Thank you for being here. I loved your tips. Any final thoughts or messages dropping in before we sign off?
This download came to me yesterday as I don't know. I was asking myself a question, and I think my answer was I don't know. And then I was talking to a young gentleman today, and he was talking about his life, and I was like, it's okay that you don't know. And I want to put that out into the ethers. Like, you might be in a state right now where there's just a lot that's on your mind that you're processing, and there's also a lot that you just don't know. And give yourself permission right now to not know, and to be in a state where you are working with what you do know, what you do have information about, and that's enough right now. And so, like we said, if it's shame and guilt that's getting in your way of executing your boundaries, how can you release that pressure? What can you do? What can you say? How can you move your body? How can you clean off that energy? Using these tools to support you in understanding more and gaining more clarity about the things that you don't know, but also being grateful for the things that you already received and that you do know, and letting them both live without judgment of the other. So not knowing isn't better or less better than knowing. They're the same. We deal with them in different ways. And so I want to put that out there, because I do feel like a lot of people right now are in a state of, I don't know. I don't know what's next. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to move forward. Okay. Be there.
Yeah.
Let them simmer. Work with what you have, and the rest will come. This is a season of rest anyway, so no better time to do it. Happy soon to be winter solstice. Like,
right, exactly. Get the blankets, get your tea, settle in. Like, the answers are inside of you. They will come when you're calm and present. And yes, we're here for you. Shine your light. Take care of you. and lovely tips on the beginning. I know we've had some folks pop in and out, so let us know if you have any questions. Thank you for being here live, and if you're catching the replay, lovely to have you, and it will all be okay. Deep breath. And remember to call back your energy and send back energy that's not yours daily.
Hey.
Brilliant. So glad I do that. And sometimes I need to do it multiple times a day, depending on how many people you're seeing in a day or how many clients you're working with and the type of client, right? We know some are a little bit more dense, heavy energy than others, just depending on what you're working through. But
yeah,
that's what we're here for. We signed up to do hard things.
Yeah. It can be a great session and still have been dense. It still could be, it could still, and you could have seen no physical signs in the session and feel it after. It's just about, honoring when that happens and not judging it or trying to investigate it, but just release it.
Well, and thank you for sharing your story of burnout and insomnia and how that turned around, because that's a huge light at the end of the tunnel, right? It's not forever. You are moving through this, even if you are sitting still.
Yeah, we're gonna be okay, champs. We're gonna be okay. Hang in there. Hang on to your hope.
Big hug. We love you. We're here for you. And we'll be back chatting again soon, I'm sure. Right, Frannie?
Very soon. Very, very soon. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for next chapter. All right. Until next time, loves, have a holiday season that makes you happy.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.